Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome in Mad Talk Sports episode 67. Let me just pull up our cover photo right here. So, this week is called Stack Banana, and I'll probably explain this again later on because Drake will be making his big return today in a couple of minutes here. But the when I was thinking about like what to call this week's episode, 6'7", 6 foot, 7 foot, the Lil Wayne song. So in the background, they've got that, that sound going, and you can obviously hear the banana part. But I know for me, I always thought it was saying splash banana. So like that's always what I thought it was, and that's what the title was going to be. But I decided I should look into it and not make the assumption that I know what I'm hearing, because it can be interpreted and heard a lot of different ways. And from what I found, it says stack banana, and it's based on an old song that's kind of known as the Banana Boat song. So wanted to give a little backstory as to why, and it's not just random. There's generally a method to the madness with me for like why I pick the titles for every week. But in general, for today, episode 67, like our agenda, we're going to catch up with Drake now that he's back, get some of his takes on general recent events and things that have happened over the past couple of weeks here. The NFL, they announced the week one matchup in Brazil. So we're going to discuss that real quick. There's a lot of receiver talk for us here, especially as you see T. Higgins on the cover. Some receivers in need of a pay raise right now. And outside of that, quickly want to go into some NFL draft stuff. And then also want to check in on the Bucks, especially with that Giannis injury. As far as the general NBA, we're going to talk some NBA contenders and special segment today. We're going to talk about NBA rivalries today. And then we'll end on a game as well here. So that'll be off the dome. So we got plenty to go through here today, but a couple things to kind of get us going before Drake breaks on here. So first of which, Tom Brady has been chirping a lot. Like a lot of his quotes are kind of going around from some recent interviews. A specific thing he talked about, or that he said specifically, was, like they're trying to take contact out of a physical sport, is basically what everything boiled down to that he was saying, which isn't new. He's been saying it. And I know like Jay and Fur, for example, like they look at it like, Brady's out of the game, and now he's just going to talk about how it's not as hard as it used to be and all of that, and not like he wasn't benefiting from it, and which is true, but I think it's just facts. Like Rogers just talked about it too, and a lot of people talk about it. We all know that they're really making this into, basically a flag football contest. Now, obviously, it's not, and if it ever did get to that point, maybe they would start to risk their revenue, and like all of a sudden like you lose what makes football so interesting, so unique. But it's for Brady to say that, it's nothing new. Like, that's not breaking news. I don't know why it has to really make its rounds, and this happens a lot, but that's the Tom Brady thing. And I know another thing was, Tom, you're gonna come back, and he said something along the lines of, be like MJ. I don't know if they'd let me, but I'd certainly be interested, which I don't think he's coming back. He's about to make a lot of money in the booth for Fox, which is a shame for Greg Olson. Not a shame that he's going to be in there, that we got to listen to him. I know some people aren't going to like it, but personally, I'm excited. I think he's arguably the best football mind as a player that we've seen. You could make that argument. And obviously a lot of that is osmosis of just being alongside Bill, and not just Bill, but even the great assistants that they had over the years. I think that plays into things too. It's just who he's been around, but still, he was a student of the game, and he was just an absolute psycho when it came to, learning the game, knowing his teammates, knowing his opponents, knowing everyone's strategies, everyone's checks. And that's, what helped him become, the GOAT that everyone recognizes him as today. So that's the Brady side of things. Another interesting thought I had recently about the NFL. Why is the NFL king? Like, why is it that is what gets everyone's attention? Why it does so much better ratings than the NBA or the MLB, NHL, MLS, anything? Nothing tops football. Why? Well, you could argue it's the game, it's the sport, it's the stars. Maybe, but what most people generally point to is betting. betting one, because it's just a game so well ripe for betting opportunities. Other people say fantasy football. And I think both of those things are accurate. But the chief reason is that football is perfect for someone with a short attention span. Why? Because a play happens and you pay attention for about 7 to, anywhere from like 4 to 12 seconds, and then it's over. And then you got 40 seconds to do whatever the hell you want. Like, talk to your buddy, sure. Like, look at your phone, no problem. Like, you don't have to stay tuned in and watch, just sequences of events and possessions over and over and over, like in basketball or like in soccer, to where, you miss some possessions in those. You're going to miss some important plays and some, turning points in a game, like hockey, for instance, or soccer, where there's such lower scoring. You look away for a little bit, you talk to your buddy for a little bit, you miss all the action potentially. While football, you have those periodic breaks built in. It's crazy. It's so wild that it's just a game that I never had a problem with, like the way it's set up. Like, I've always liked it. I love football. Always love football. But for some people at first, that would be like a complaint of like, like, it takes a while for things to happen. Like, but then when you actually watch it, you're like, holy shit. Like, this actually works quite to my favor, especially when you incorporate the fantasy football part of it. You got time to keep an eye on everything else, and you got time to check on your phone with how you're doing overall. And for betting, you can continue to check in on that, or even make more bets as you're going without missing anything important all the time. So I think that's part of it too. And just naturally, the way that the flow of the game is set up for commercial breaks and everything like that, like, just a brilliant positioned role to be able to, or league to be able to capture the audience of America and beyond. So that's my little filibuster here before I welcome back. Come on, add to the stage. And there he is. Drake, what's up? All right. Technical difficulties there, but you guys won't have seen much of it. Drake, welcome back.
What's going on? How you doing?
Just got done filibustering.
Now I know what it means.
Yep, exactly. Well, before I get into everything with you, I gotta, give you your little peek into this week's title slide and tell you a little why. So I said it before already, but it's called Stack Banana. Any guesses as to why?
Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny bit.
Okay, so it's episode 67.
Bananas.
Stack Banana. But it's episode 67, and when I was thinking about like what to call everything, it made me think of 6 Foot, 7 Foot, the Lil Wayne song. And in the background, you hear the dun, 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 dun. Like, I always thought it was saying Splash Banana, and that's what I was going to call this week. And I was like, perfect. We're going to talk basketball, Splash, and I can incorporate it. And then after that, I looked it up to like make sure I wasn't being an idiot. And I was, because it said Stack Banana. So that's why we went that way.
You taught me 2 things now. Because I didn't know it said Stack Banana.
Well, I didn't either. So the more you know.
But
I guess first thing, Drake, you gotta tell us how you feel about the Steelers.
How I feel about the Steelers. I feel good. I still feel like we're not. I don't know if I want to say we're not keeping up with our division, but I mean, it's a tough division to keep up with. But we are in a way better position than we were last year. And I'm very excited about that. I mean, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both major upgrades in the quarterback room. So I am not disappointed at all. And if our future quarterback is Justin Fields rather than Kenny Pickett, that's a win for the next 5 years anyways. So I'm feeling pretty good. And Patrick Queen is just, that's going to help so much. Stopping the run, which is probably what we struggled with a lot last year. So I'm pretty happy. I will say I didn't know who that cornerback was, but Dante Jackson, right, is his name.
Yep.
You told me who that was. Apparently, he's pretty good. I still don't know. So we'll find out. But I'm pretty happy. We'll see how the draft goes, but I'm pretty happy.
To be fair, I mostly only know about Dante Jackson because of Madden.
Oh.
Like obviously I recognize who he is in real life too, but I would have had no idea of telling him between, cornerback number 2,
Yeah. What else? Oh, Arthur Smith. Did we talk about that, did we? Was I here for that?
Yeah, when it first happened, yeah.
Okay. Well, more and more as I sit and gather with it, I'm pretty fine with that too. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, overall, everything that you guys did, it's all gonna help. Everything's been an upgrade, and like you said, you guys are a tough division still, so ain't nothing coming easy. Bengals are coming back. Ravens are still gonna be good. Who knows about the Browns, but I think they'll still at least be solid. But you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta keep hitting the upgrade button, and so far you have.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? We can't sit here and act like Russell Wilson had a terrible year last year or even the year before that. It wasn't terrible. He's statistically wise, he's better than Deshaun Jackson. I mean, not what? Deshaun Watson. So I don't know.
Well, at least he's better than Deshaun Jackson. So there you go. Not to mention,
I was thinking of Dante Jackson and Deshaun Watson, and I just found a player.
I thought you were about to say Lamar Jackson. I was like, whoa there, settle down.
No.
I know, because you had to obviously defend Kenny Pickett, and
I had to.
Defending Kenny Pickett as a starting NFL QB is the same as arguing Russell Wilson's better than Lamar. Both are nonsense.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you got to back your guy, right? And were there very small glimpses of what Kenny Pickett could have been? Yeah, but terrible.
I'm glad you could admit that. Thanks for coming to this side of the table.
I mean, as a Steelers fan, I'm not going to sit there and just be like, our quarterback is horrible.
You should.
He was
terrible.
Should have. I've said there were times where I've said that he was not good.
Yeah, but you were always doing it with kid gloves on of I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm still holding out hope. When in reality, you knew he stunk from day one.
Oh yeah. I mean,
before the draft, dude. Originally you didn't want him.
I didn't want him at all. No, I wanted Malik Willis. Now, obviously, seeing how that goes, that's terrible as well. But I didn't want Kenny Pickett at all.
Worst quarterback draft class the last
terrible.
decade. Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder's been the best performing one, and that's terrible.
Yeah, woof. Well, Brock is, but
that was that year too. That was that year too.
Irrelevant that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
We could have.
All right. You would have
the next year.
You would have turned him into Duck Hodges.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Brock Purdy and the Steelers that year would have been Kenny Pickett.
Terrible. Yeah. You'd have been out of the league. All right. Well. So me and Kyle talked about this last week, but the Stephon Diggs trade.
Obviously, the namesake wise, you're like, that's a move for the Texans, but I don't know if I like it, man.
No? Why not?
I don't like the personality of. I just don't like he could come in really we talked about it a little bit, but he could really come and disrupt that team. That team has a good core there. I think CJ Stroud's a great leader. And Stephon Diggs cried his way out of Minnesota. He cried his way out of Buffalo. I just don't know if I like the attitude. Obviously, he's a good player, like that's hands down. You can't deny that, but he's a diva, and I just, I like the Texans. I put them very high when we did our rankings preseason. I was always, I like CJ Stroud. I like them coming into the draft, everything. So I just don't want them to mess that team up. They won a playoff game this year, which is something that the Texans haven't done in, I don't remember. So,
yeah, I hear you, but that's like what we talked about. Like, that's why it's good that they restructured the deal and made it a 1-year deal, because then you're just getting the best of Diggs for a year and then you move on. Because I think they see a window. I think they see like, holy shit, man, we're good. And we still got draft capital. We've got ascending players, like players on the rise. Like, we're only going to have this window for so long. Like, let's just do it now. And then their only guy out there to do that really turned out to be Diggs, I suppose. I don't know why they weren't in on the Keenan Allen side of things, or maybe he needed to get paid. I don't know. But all in all, I think it's still positive.
I mean, from a you've got 3 number 1 receivers and the rookie of the year. On like talent wise, and they got Joe Mixon. So talent wise, it's like that is.
They're set.
It being 1 year, like I don't think Stephon Diggs can ruin the chemistry too bad. So yeah, I don't know. I just hope he doesn't tank the chemistry or just be a diva there too. Yeah,
he might,
but I like it. I guess on field wise.
Yeah, I mean he's got the talent.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't deny that at all.
I'm getting a little bit of my sound feedback on your sound. Can you hear that at all?
How about
now? No. Nope. All good.
No. Had you a little too loud.
I'm loud enough. All right. So now this news was yesterday or 2 days ago, I think by now. I don't know if you've seen it, but Josh Allen, the pass rusher Josh Allen, got a 5-year extension from the Jaguars. So that was a pretty big deal. I think he's like the 3rd highest paid pass rusher on a yearly basis now.
Well, I did for a little bit, but
yeah.
And wrong. So I like it. Offensive wise, though, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
but I like it.
I think he's a dog. I like Josh Allen a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's had some like awesome games already in his career. I think he's kind of like he's a little bit of like one of those guys that goes on streaks where it's like, all right, I'm going to get 3 sacks this week, and then I'm going to go like a month without any, and then I'm going to get 3 again. Like, he's a little streaky, but I still like him as a player.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. What else are you going to do if you're the Jags?
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
you gotta retain your guys.
Yeah. And I don't know I don't know much about anything they've done in the offseason, but
they got Gabe Davis.
Well, they did.
And Darnell Savage.
Oh, wow. Just for all the viewers out there, I'm dark mode, so I don't really get a lot of news. So I don't know about what much of what's going on, but
so it's all fresh reactions.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you seen anything about the Cowboys being all in?
I did see that before I went out, that they were going to be all in.
Did you see the Skip Bayless tweet?
No.
all in, comma, my ass. And then it was a whole big thing. Like RG3 said, put that comma in the Hall of Fame because otherwise it'd be all in my ass. But so they said that, Jerry Jones obviously doing Jerry Jones thing, saying, Cowboys, we're going to be all in this year. And what they've done is they signed a linebacker, a backup linebacker. They re-signed their long snapper. And they lost 2 starting O-linemen. They let Tyron Smith walk and Biadish walk, and they let Pollard walk.
Yep.
And
Pollard's gone.
They haven't extended Dak. They haven't extended Lamb, and they've done nothing. So the new report, though, is that there's tension with Micah Parsons, that the Cowboys don't like that he does this podcast, and they don't like this, and they don't like that. And it's just a lot of like drama kind of going around the Cowboys right now. And it's a little worrisome, right? Like the Eagles theoretically got better with all of their moves. And I think the Commanders and Giants can't be worse. And the NFC overall is getting better.
The Giants could be worse, actually. They lost
You're
Saquon.
right. The Giants are garbage. You're right.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. The Commanders can't be worse.
Yeah,
So the
Commanders could be better.
I think they'll be at least moderately. But even if they're not, like the NFC in general, like I talked a little bit the other week, I don't know if it's 2 weeks ago, but I was talking about the Cardinals as being kind of a dark horse team to be sneaky annoying. Like
they're going to get Marvin Harrison, aren't they?
I think so, unless they trade back. And if they do, they'll just get more blue chip players anyway. But, I think people are sleeping on Kyler Murray.
Like, come on.
I know, that's your boy. But not to go too far off topic. But
basically like Murray.
Right. Yeah, he's your boy. But for the Cowboys part of it, what do you make of it? Like, where do you think that they are as a franchise? Hold on. Sorry, I'm cutting in and out a little bit.
I mean, I don't like the Cowboys. Oh, yeah, I know. I hear you. You good now or no? Yeah, you're good now. I'm good.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with these. The internet must be. You must be having another crash or whatever that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I unplugged my mic. I'm just gonna go off computer audio, so that helped somehow.
Yeah, Cowboys terrible. I don't like the Cowboys anyway, regardless. Who's their RB1 right now?
Dowdle.
Is All In going to be in the draft?
Yep.
I don't know, man. The Cowboys are always just the Cowboys. I mean, Chase Claypool saying the Browns, that statement literally is the Cowboys.
It's unfortunate.
Cowboys is the Cowboys. When have they been a real threat ever?
I mean, okay. I want to be fair. Like they've had some good teams. Like it's not like they've been a bottom barrel team, a bottom barrel franchise. Like
I mean, during the regular season, no, they win some games, but then what? I just seen something that my mom had sent me. There's been more solar eclipses in the last whatever than Cowboys have playoff wins.
Woof.
And it's just like I keep all those things, and it's just it really is the name of America's team, you know.
Yeah, I mean
that's their game. They're pretty solid in the regular season, and then what? It doesn't mean anything. And then they do this where they don't do absolutely anything in the offseason to get better. Just worse.
Which cat
and
is
Seb
that?
Agrees.
Seb? Duh. Mr. Steve ain't something like that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, You make good points, and it's a lot of talk's been like made recently in like sports media of that like Jerry Jones isn't serious about winning a Super Bowl. He's serious about people paying attention to the Cowboys and them being a national brand, regardless of how many games they win. Which, fair point. And if you look at what's happened, probably pretty accurate. I don't think they're gonna like fall apart as a team. Like I think they'll still be putting together regular season wins. Like they draft well, like as a team. And they've got some good core players even still, even though they've lost some guys, but they are in a tough spot because Dak's cap hit, even though they haven't extended him, like it's going to hurt because they didn't pay him a ton up front. They kind of borrowed from these upcoming years. So I am a little worried about the Cowboys as a potential fall off team next year for sure.
I would agree. And that Micah Parsons stuff, that's just.
Now that's a rumor. So
Yeah.
we don't know. We don't know.
Maybe he'll go somewhere else.
Maybe. I don't think so, though. I think they'll probably keep him around. Makes the Cowboys more money. All right. So last thing before we transition to the next topic area. So something that was announced today, the Brazil game for the NFL this year. That's going to be first time in South America. It's going to be week 1 that Friday. So the day after opening night, it's Packers versus Eagles as the Brazil game. What do you think of that choice?
Packers ended hot last year,
Eagles ended cold.
Eagles ended cold, but Eagles every off season they make great moves. So I mean, I guess we'll see what I think that's a good matchup next year. Honestly, I think both those teams are probably same level next year, and I think that'll be a good way to see. I mean, obviously it's week 1, you can't see anything, but see if the Packers can kick off where they left off and see if the Eagles off season, I don't know, is good. I don't know, helps.
Yeah.
See what Saquon can do.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I mean, I love it. Like, obviously, as a Packer fan, I have a little bias, but this is a cool matchup, dude. Like, there's going to be some star players, and you got a little bit of the parallels to where, like, Love's first, like, flashes he showed were against the Eagles when he stepped in for Rodgers a couple years ago. You got the Eagles breaking out their new running back with Saquon. We're breaking out our new running back with Jacobs. Like, they got a new – yeah, exactly, dude. It's going to be – I think it'll be a cool game and just a fun week 1 matchup. And because at work, all the Bears fans are like, oh, well, why is it this game? It's like, dude, come on. Packers are a global brand, and the Eagles are a pretty strong brand in the NFL as well. So, like, it's one of the better choices they could have had.
Oh, yeah. I mean, represent our first game in South America that way. Why not? Who else are you going to put? Cowboys?
Nope.
America's team?
Because that's what someone said too. I think I remember someone saying that, and I said, why? Why would the NFL do that? The NFL is a ratings business. Like, the Cowboys get ratings no matter what. Why would you waste a international game on like this cool of a matchup? Like, I mean, this is a really cool matchup too. So a little contradictory, but like Cowboys drive ratings no matter what. Like, that's just how it goes.
I mean, could have put the Steelers over there, and I wouldn't have been upset.
Steelers. All right. So next little thing here, I want to talk about some wide receivers. So there's 4 specifically that are up for contract that I want to talk about in terms of should they stay, will they stay, and how much are they worth, like from a money standpoint? Like, what are you comfortable paying them? So we could start with we'll start from the guy on the cover today, T. Higgins. So he's on the tag, but the big question for him, like he requested a trade. It doesn't look like the Bengals are going to budge. What do you see happening for Higgins?
That I honestly have no idea because I don't know. I mean, there were talks of him coming to the Steelers. Obviously, the Steelers didn't pay him or weren't going to pay him whatever. Or, he's not a free agent, so
he ain't going to this. He ain't getting traded in division. No,
exactly.
No way.
I mean, we did want him. I did see that, but
okay, and I want Justin Jefferson.
but that's what I mean. Like, he's not a free agent, so
Yeah.
he's either honestly going to hold out or he's going to play on the franchise tag.
You don't think they'll extend him like
No.
in the summer or anything?
No.
Why?
Well, you get tagged and then you ask for a trade. Why would they extend a player who wanted to be traded?
Lamar Jackson asked for a trade last offseason.
Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, not T. Higgins.
Dude, T. Higgins is a dog.
He is, but like, he's a receiver.
I know, I'm just pushing back. But T. Higgins is a really nice player. Like,
no, 100%. I like T. Higgins.
Like, 20 to 30th best receiver in the game.
He steps up very well when Chase is hurt. I like T. Higgins. Like I said, we wanted him. Weren't going to get him, obviously, like you said. But who doesn't want T. Higgins on their team? But I don't see the Bengals trading him, and I just don't see him extending him. Really, they got to pay Chase.
Yep, you're right. Next year, they just paid Burrow last year. They just
can't pay all three. And this was the discussion that we had last year. Like, time's coming where you before the Burrow contract. Yep. We said it, like, time's coming where one of them is going to go because you can't pay all three. And it just so happens that T. Higgins is going to be the one out because Jamar Chase is better.
Yep. Because there was the Bills GM, what's his name? Brandon Beane or something like that. Last year, when they lost to the Bengals in the playoffs, he made like a snarky comment of, it's a lot harder to build a roster when you're paying your quarterback, talking about how the Bengals still had Burrow on a rookie deal. And we were talking about how they do, but their window is going to come to the close just like your guys' did. Like, don't act like this is an unfair league or an unfair system. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, Higgins, I think I go back and forth, honestly, between if he's going to play out the tag or if they're going to trade him. I think they'll play it out because they just still feel like, I want to get one more try out of this awesome receiver duo. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I think they'll ride it out.
I do too. That's what I see. Like I said, he's either going to play on the tag or he'll be like, I'm going to Le'Veon Bell it.
So I wonder what his contract, I assume he wants somewhere in the 22 to 26 million a year type of category. That's kind of where I think he'd want to be. And I think that's fair for certain teams. Like, if he were within that range, he's worth more than Judy, for example, who got 19 million a year on his extension or something like that. He's worth more than that, but he's not worth a Devontae Adams who's making 27, 28 million per year. So
I'll say that the wide receiver market for me, where the range is just very, I don't compromise. I don't comprehend it because Jerry Jeudy is probably an 11 mil a year player.
Dude, Darnell Mooney got more than that.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't
make more than that.
I don't understand the wide receiver market, to be honest.
I agree with you, dude. I think it's a little overrated right now. I think receivers are a little overpaid.
100%.
Yeah, it helps a ton to have, game-making receivers for sure. But once you got to start paying them north of 20 million a year, it's do I really want to pay you that? Or do I, Lazard, do I want to pay you 15 million a year? Or can I just turn around and draft Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks and whoever else all in one draft class, and I'm paying my entire receiver room $11 million for better production? There's always good guys coming in the draft. So
exactly.
So it's, certain teams I think are really dependent on their receiver. So for example, CeeDee Lamb, talked about him a little bit earlier. I would pay him because
100%.
the Cowboys offense it kind of circles around CeeDee Lamb, at least the last like year or two.
Like, I'm honestly, I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb he's a top 10 receiver.
I would agree.
So, I mean, I'm paying him top 10 receiver money. I'm giving him, 18, 19? Maybe you go north of 20.
You're definitely going north of 20, dude. He's going to be getting in the 25 to 30 range, dude.
But see, that's what I mean. That's why I don't understand the market, because
you don't know where everyone's at.
Exactly. Like,
I'm pulling up. I want to see it.
The only one I really know is like Tyreek.
Let's look. Positions. Yeah, I kind of want to look at it real quick, like just the overall positional ranking in like average per year. All right, so I've got it. I'm on overthecap.com. I've given them so many shout outs on here. Tyreek Hill makes $30 million a year. That's his average. So like that's top of the market. Devontae, 28. Cooper Kupp, 27. A.J. Brown, 25. DK, 24. Debo, 24. Pittman, 23. Michael Pittman, that's a good benchmark because he's the most recent contract.
And see, what is it, 23?
23 and change. And
too much for Michael Pittman. Too much for Michael Pittman.
Yeah, well, opinion. That's what
I'm paying CeeDee Lamb more than DK Metcalf for sure.
Yeah. So, and CeeDee Lamb's thinking that same goddamn thing. So that
100%.
So that means to keep CeeDee Lamb, you're giving him $25 million a year at least.
At least.
And probably closer to 30, if not breaking it. With the year he had, like, I'm sure he's like saying, I want a top dollar. I want to set the market.
I mean, that's what Justin Jefferson's saying too, though.
Dude, the reports are that Justin Jefferson wants 35. Like, bro, what are you, a quarterback? Come on. Like, yeah, I still think he's the best receiver in the league, but do I think he's worth 20% more or whatever than Tyreek Hill? No.
Mm-mm. I mean, I'd pay him. I mean, if Tyreek's market is 30, that's what top of the top is. Justin Jefferson's not getting a penny over 30.
Well, another factor to think about, though, is the NFL cap increased like 15% this year. So, like, they're saying a lot of players are adding 15% to what they wanted originally. So, yeah, I'd be like, well, so much for spreading the wealth to the other guys.
Yeah.
But I get it. You got to earn, you got to fight for your keep, and you got a small window in the NFL. It's the not for long. So, I mean, I get it. So, I wouldn't pay Jefferson $35 million a year. Like, if it came down to it, I would say, well, I'll trade you for 2 first-rounders instead. So that would be me personally on that point. And that's because I think we might be on the same page here, Drake, when you get back on. Receiver value, it's a market that's just, like you said, it's just boomed so crazily, so fast, to where like this top dollar is so high. Like, I remember when Amari Cooper got paid like a few years ago, and he's making like, I want to say maybe 20 million a year now. Like, that was the market not that long ago. And personally, I think receivers are eventually going to get looked at like running backs, to where there's so many of them. You can always draft some, especially in later rounds. Like, why would I pay top dollar for a difference maker? So I think eventually receivers will kind of come back down to earth.
But see, then again, it's like, how many positions in football can do that, because their money's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's true.
Are they just going to pay all the quarterbacks $40 million?
60.
So I don't know. I mean, but CeeDee Lamb, I'm definitely paying him 25 minimum.
All right. He says, I need 28. What are you doing?
Paying him 28.
He says, I need 30. What are you doing?
Offering him 29.
You can't make more than Tyreek.
I'd probably cap it at 30 for CD.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I agree with you there.
If he's like, I want 32 with 25 guaranteed, I'd be like, go play with Jordan Love.
Ooh. Like that. Oh, that'd be cool, but don't get that in my head. All right. So let's transition a little bit to the NFL draft. So last year we obviously did awesome in our mock draft where we got like first 8 or something picks right, something crazy. And then you got Pittsburgh right, kind of. Like you had him taking Joey Porter Jr., who you got, but you got him with what, the 33rd pick?
Later.
And really?
No, like I meant later than I said.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you still got your guy, and you got, what's his name, Broderick Jones, which is who I wanted the Packers to take. But all in all, we did very well on that. So I wanted to kind of quickly check in on who your wish list is for the Steelers this time. Like, obviously, we got to make sure that Mad Talk does another mock draft here ahead of time, keep up with the yearly tradition. But who would you be kind of looking for the Steelers?
Marius Mims, tackle from Georgia.
Another Georgia tackle.
That would just allow Broderick to slide back over to left tackle.
That's true.
And we'd have 2 huge Georgia dogs on the end. Powers Johnson.
Yeah,
center
dude.
from Oregon.
Yep.
I just don't know if we're going to draft a center first round,
No, probably
and
not.
I don't know if he'll fall to us in the second.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So those are probably 2 that I would like offensive line wise. Defensive side, Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson, or Cooper DeJean, quarterback from Iowa.
I heard some good things about him, especially that he can like slide the nickel back when needed, which is really valuable right now.
He can play anywhere, honestly, in the secondary.
Well, that's what you like to see, is like those players that got like that range. So for me, I've done a couple of Packers like mock drafts to the first 3 rounds, going through Pro Football Focus for that. So that's actually been cool. And a lot of times in the first round, I have the Packers taking Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama, cornerback. I really like everything that I have seen of him and everything that I've heard of him from a scout standpoint as well. And I think the Packers could use another DB. So I've really liked him. I like Junior Colson, linebacker out of Michigan. I heard an interesting thing about him recently that so Mac McDonald, Mac McDonald, I don't know, whatever his name is, the Seahawks' new head coach who was the DC in Baltimore. He used to be the DC at Michigan 3 years ago. And that was when Junior Colson was a freshman, and he was raving about how good he was then. So that's kind of a cool thing. Makes me have an eye on him, and I think the Packers could use another diverse linebacker now that Devontae Campbell's gone. And so those are 2 that kind of come to mind. But going back to the first round, honestly, any of those linemen, there's a lot of good old linemen in this draft. So like,
I know.
I'd really like to see them take one, at least in the top 2 rounds.
I think Georgia tackle, Oregon center, Mims or Johnson for us would be the way I would be stoked if we got either one of those.
Maybe you'll be like last year where you'll get them just later.
If we could get Mims, our offensive line is
set.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, you guys need receivers all of a sudden.
Huh?
You need receivers all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
This is a great draft to need receivers, though.
It's tough. As much as, like, I would have just liked to keep Deontay. But whatever. We'll get one.
I mean, you always do, so
yeah,
not that worried about it.
Maybe, like I said, Maybe we'll get like Michael Thomas. I'd take him as a number 2 to GP.
Yeah, that'd be great. He could catch like 6 slants in his 4 weeks and then be out.
I don't know. I think him being out was just a sham because he didn't want to play with the quarterbacks in New Orleans. After Drew Brees left, I feel like he was just like, I'm out.
He was out of the lineup. All right. Well, so you may or may not know this yet, Drake, but so the Bucks have been on a slide lately. They lost 6 straight, including like ugly games, like losing to the Grizzlies and the Raptors and the Wizards. Blah. And they won their last 2, but the other big thing is that Giannis had a non-contact injury, a calf strain, which they're comparing it to the one Kevin Durant had the year he tore his Achilles.
I was going to say.
Yeah, that was my gut reaction when I saw it. That was where my head went right away. But right now they're saying that it's basically he's out for the rest of the regular season, so the final 3-4 games, and then he'll be evaluated on a day-to-day basis from there. So like comparing him to other players, like Dame had that injury a couple years ago where he missed like 2 weeks. And let's see who else. Luka had that injury a couple of years ago where he missed the first 3 games of the playoffs. So it's something that varies, and people heal from it differently. But what do you think there?
I mean, obviously, I told you that I have my ESPN notifications. I get notifications on sports now and everything, so I do check that. It's tough. Obviously losing the best player in the league is always going to hurt. But I don't know. You tell me. But from what I see, they play better when Giannis isn't playing.
All right. Okay. So
I'm not saying that it's Giannis or anything, but is the Doc and Giannis combo not working?
It's working fine, dude. Giannis is having a historic season. Like his averages of 30, 10, and 6 or whatever on 60% shooting. Like Giannis is doing Giannis things. Like, yeah, the Bucks as a whole haven't been, but I don't think that has anything to do with Giannis. Like they won the other last night without him. But
that's what but I didn't say it was Giannis's fault. Obviously, like I said, Giannis is the best player in basketball. But why can't they figure out how to win with the best basketball player in the world on the court?
Well, it's a ton of things, dude. Like the Bucks have just been a mess, man. Like K-Mid just been in and out. When he's in, he looks good, and then he's on a minutes restriction, and then he's out, and then he's back, and he's on a minutes restriction, and so on and so forth. And Dame, he was banged up a little bit. Giannis has been mostly solid throughout the season, but now, having been banged up. Brook Lopez definitely looks a little slow and a little old. And it's just been a choppy team, man. Like adding in Pat Bev late, switching coaches, obviously. Like it's been a hell of a wild ass roller coaster for the Bucks so far this year. So I think that's part of it. Now, also, you could argue that both Dame and Giannis, they've only ever played on teams where they were the guy, and that was it. And they play well together in stretches, but then there's also times where it's a little off. So I'm not worried about it. Like I think the Bucks are still in a good spot, and not in a great spot, but they're still going to be the 2 seed, even though this season has been so shitty. And I think that gets lost a lot of times.
Yeah. Because that's crazy.
Part of that's because of the midness of the East, but
yeah,
it's just so many mid teams. Magic, mid. Knicks, mid. Cavs, mid. Like just a bunch of mid teams, and then the Celtics. Like that's just kind of how it is. So it's hard to say. Like I don't think it's something to where it's like a Doc thing. Like I personally think he's gotten a little bit too much of the blame. Now he's also not helped himself by like trying to throw other people under the bus. I don't know if you've seen any of that news, but people have been saying like he's just making excuses type of thing, like what JJ Redick said about him a while back. So I don't think it's all on Doc. I don't think it's all on Giannis. I think it's just honestly a ton of growing pains for these guys.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't blame Giannis for really anything. Like you say, he's having a historical season.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
best player in the league.
If it weren't for the narratives around the Bucks, Giannis would probably be MVP favorite.
Yeah, but it's just I just don't know what's not clicking. That's all. That was what my point was. Like, not as Giannis the issue, but
yeah, I mean, I hear you.
Clicking,
I hear you. Well, the good news is it doesn't need to click until 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like last year at this time, the Bucks were the 1 seed, and no one had any concerns about them. And then they, got punched in the face in the first round, and the season was over. And then you look at it as a massive failure. So if it's at least the reverse of that, like positive. So we'll see though, and that goes into the next thing, which I want to kind of talk about general contenders in the NBA. Because again, in the East, it's been the Celtics and everyone else, the mid. Can anyone threaten them? And if so, who?
I don't. In the beginning, I said obviously the Bucks would beat the Celtics, but I think the Celtics are coming out of the East, dude.
They are scary. They are scary.
I mean, I don't know.
Now, I will say, a thought I had the other day when the Bucks Celtics game was on, I was tuned in, was Celtics are awesome, dude. Like, that's for sure. And even just like watching Drew guard Dame, I was like, God damn it. Like, kind of just seeing like what you had type of thing. But the other thing I saw, besides the fact that the Celtics they're definitely a better roster. Like, there's no arguing that. Jason Tatum's going to Jason Tatum. And by that, I mean that he's going to turn the ball over in stupid times. And it's really, it has to be frustrating for Celtics fans because he's such a beast. Like I put him as the 4th best player in the league when me and Kyle did our rankings last time. And that being said, I do not trust him to take care of the ball at all.
And Jaylen Brown can't go left.
Yep. Yeah. And they don't get to the free throw line. They were the first team in NBA history or whatever it was to attempt 0 free throws.
But didn't who they play?
Bucks shot
2,
shot the
right?
Bucks. Yeah. But yeah, sure, they were probably being tight with the whistle, but even so, like the Celtics do that. Like they're a very 3-point dependent team. So that would be my concern.
Night off that night. The refs took a night off that night. They were just
running up and down the court. They were on mute. So that would be my thoughts on the Celtics, is that honestly they are the best threat to themselves. Like I think they get in their own way.
Could they be beat? Probably. But like by who, what I said last year about the Celtics was that they needed a center and a point guard. So they got Porzingis and Holiday. I swear they listened to me and were like, we're going to do exactly what Drake said because now we're good. And I said that that's what they could do to get over the hump. So can they, do I see someone like the Cavs beating them? Absolutely not. Or the Knicks? No. 76ers? Joel's back now, but no. Maybe. Jimmy Buckets?
You never know.
You can't ever knock out Jimmy Butler, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat have been on a slide lately too, but
yeah.
So now that I think about it, for the Celtics, you can pencil them in unless they get the Heat in round one, unless that happens, you can pencil them into at least the conference finals. Now, for a contender, if the Bucks are able to get there, like if they're able to first round beat the Pacers or whoever, or the Sixers, whatever it might be, second round beat the Knicks or the Cavs or something like that, and they're 2 series deep and Giannis is fully back in and healthy and they're clicking now and they're playing good basketball, then I think you got a puncher's chance and it can be like a 50-50 type series. But if the Celtics get anyone else that far, like the Knicks or the Cavs, they're going to blow them out of the water.
Well, yeah. I think the only team that has a chance against the Celtics is the Bucks.
I give the Heat a 5% chance.
Like I said, if it's Celtics Heat round one,
maybe 20.
I mean,
give me 20%. 20%.
I don't know. You cannot bet against Jimmy Butler.
No, unless it's the finals and they're just playing the best team.
Yeah.
Because, I think it would almost be a little bit of like mind games even. Like for the Heat playing either the Celtics or the Bucks, like they've been fuckers to both of us. So, which is kind of what we'll get to again here shortly. But, yeah, I would agree. Like I don't see anyone else like putting up any fight in the East against them.
No.
Now in the West, everyone's saying the same thing, is that it's the Nuggets and everybody else.
See, I disagree.
Oh,
like the top 4-5 teams are all above 50 wins. And
yeah, that's true.
Pull up the standings. Hold on.
So I know that the top 3 are like within a game of each other as far as like Denver, OKC, Minnesota, and then Clippers, Mavs are locked in at 4-5.
Yep. So yeah, Mavs 50 wins. Top 5 teams have 50 wins. Everybody else, dude. Pelicans got 47, Suns got 47, Kings got 45.
Yeah. West is thick. Always is.
I mean, are the Timberwolves like the Nuggets are the best team in the West for sure, but like
best team in the league.
Dude, the Clippers could beat them.
Man. Maybe. I mean, maybe.
The Nuggets are just too deep, but the Clippers could beat them. Clippers could beat them.
I believe in the power of healthy
Timberwolves could beat them.
Maybe. Thunder can't. 0%.
Zero?
Zero. Thunder would get rolled.
Oh, the Thunder. Oh, I thought you were saying the Timberwolves are 0%.
No, Timberwolves I would give like 20.
I mean, the Timberwolves have something that nobody else has, though, that's in the playoffs, and that's 2 bigs.
That's true. Cat's banged up still, though.
Yeah, but I think he's come back.
Yeah, he will. He'll be back.
So, do I think like the Nuggets? I think the West is a little more of a toss up than the East. You know, like the East, it's like, oh, like we just said, you know, if the Bucks can be clicking and healthy and everything, they could, you know, then you have a fighter's chance. But like in the West, it's like Clippers, maybe Timberwolves.
The Mavs. Damn it, Drake. The Mavericks. Come on, Luka.
The Nuggets are better than the Mavs.
They are, but the Mavs are scary, dude.
100%. But like the Mavs probably have a better chance of beating the Nuggets than
the Thunder.
Oh yeah, the Thunder for sure. The Thunder have no chance if they meet the Nuggets in the playoffs. Zero. That's a 0%. Chet's not guarding Jokic. Jokic will have 40 a night.
Yeah,
all 4 games.
15 boards, 10 assists.
But I don't know, man. I don't know about the West.
I got to see the matchups.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't think it's as equal to the East where it's like Celtics, everyone else, and then it's like
Yeah,
Nuggets,
yeah,
everyone else. Because I think that the West has a lot of teams that could knock out the Nuggets.
yeah.
Nuggets are the best, obviously, period. But like I said, Mavs, Clippers, Timberwolves, I could see them beating the Nuggets.
Those would be the three that I would say could contend them. I
Yeah.
don't think any of them would be my pick,
No.
but yeah, that's fair. I guess the Clippers, just because of the wings that they have, they'd have to be 100% healthy, and you never know with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the NBA wants that the two favorites, Celtics Nuggets? Do you think that's the finals that they would root for? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think that would be the best finals matchup personally, too, anyways.
yeah. I mean, it probably would be just because they are both such great teams, and you got the defending champ, you got the team with the best record, you got so many stars, and the matchups between Porzingis and Jokic would be interesting, and Drew and Jamal Murray, that's interesting. Like, I would like that for sure.
Yeah. But then again, Jokic would cook Porzingis.
I mean, Jokic is going to cook everybody in the league basically, except for
Yeah.
Giannis. Like, that's just kind of how
Yeah.
it is.
So
Maybe
it's
AD
just
can hang with him a little bit, but not much.
you have to look at everybody else,
Yeah. 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 I mean, that is definitely the matchup, though, that the NBA wants. I think it would do great. So, last point on NBA before we end up with Off the Dome today. I want to talk NBA rivalries currently. This is sparked because of the Clippers and the Mavs matching up again in the playoffs. This is like the third time in like 4 or 5 years for them. So I was starting to think, I'm like, like that's a kind of good example of like a current rivalry. But you think back historically, it's Celtics Lakers. That's what it's
Mhm.
always been. Not so much anymore. Or like Bulls Pistons back in the Jordan era and the Bad Boy Pistons. Like that was a rivalry, but like what would the rivalries be like today? Like whether it be team v team or you're even thinking like player versus player. Like, do you have anything that comes to mind?
Player versus player, you obviously got Luka and Devin Booker. They go at it every time they play together. And
Yeah,
it's
that's a
always
good
a good
one.
matchup. But like team v team, I honestly don't even.
There's one for sure that in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, yeah, dude, I don't know.
Well, you'll agree when I say it, but Celtics Heat.
Oh,
That's the best rivalry right now. Like
yeah,
that's real. That's
yeah,
real. Like I think they
yeah,
hate each other. And they're both kind of the same, to where like they've both gotten to the finals lately. They've both been very good all the time lately, but neither of them can ever finish the job. So like I think that's the best one right now.
yeah. And I mean, it's just you obviously you got Lakers Warriors too, right? Like not that it's Lakers Warriors franchise, it's more LeBron versus the Warriors, but
LeBron, Steph, I guess.
yeah. Like I mean, that's not necessarily a rivalry, but that's a rivalry that I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
we make it to be because it has been our entire lives,
yeah,
really, I guess.
yeah.
So, but other than that, like I don't see a Bulls, Pistons, Celtics, Lakers type of stuff going on anymore.
No, because not that often do people like match up in the playoffs like multiple years in a row type thing. Like I'd say Bucks Heat maybe, but the only problem with that is the 3 times they've matched up, every series has been a blowout. Like Heat beat the Bucks in 5, Bucks sweep the Heat, Heat beat the Bucks in 5. Like that's more narrative based of a rivalry than anything. Clippers Mavs, I would say, is decent right now for sure.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think Suns Nuggets is kind of interesting. Because last year they played in the playoffs, and then if you remember, like the Suns in 4 guy, the year that the Suns went to the finals, like that's
Mhm.
kind of one, like maybe a little bit, but I feel like it's a little bit of a reach.
Yeah. It's I feel like it's more. I don't know. I feel like it's more us making it rivalries these days. Like I said, that Lakers Warriors thing, like the team isn't anything, but like last year in the playoffs or play-in, whatever playoffs, that was like a whole thing, like Lakers
It was
Warriors, but it's more of LeBron Steph, So yeah, I think it's more us that make it a rivalry rather than these teams going like circling this game on their calendar,
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you there for sure. I guess because maybe player to player, there's sub rivalries like Draymond and anybody. Right? Draymond and Gobert, Draymond and Jordan Poole, Draymond and not LeBron anymore, but Draymond and Steven Adams because he kicked him in the nuts. Like
Dylan Brooks and anybody as well.
Yeah. Pat Bev and Dame used to be one, and now they're on the same team. Like, so there you go.
That Luka Devin Booker one I like. And obviously, they make the Luka Trae Young one, but they love each other. But obviously, that's always going to be one in the media because of the pick swap. But
yeah, true.
Trade.
True. But yeah, no.
So
okay, all right. So Drake, last thing for today was going to be off the dome. It's been a little while, so I can go first.
No.
Like I'm prepped. You're ready.
I'm not prepped. I didn't see that. But you know what?
You'll do an off the dome topic for off the dome.
I'll do an off the dome topic.
All right. So remembering the rules now at this point, you have 1 minute, Drake, and I'm going to give you your topic. I'm going to say go. You list off as many as you can. Now, this is an NBA related one, and I'm going to preface it with letting you know that you probably know at least 8 of these guys on the list, and it's going to be very mixed in terms of like their skill level. Like it's not all stars, it's not all scrubs, it's not all mid-level guys. Like it's kind of a spread. So be ready. It's going to be a hard one. But top 10 3-point shooting percentage in the NBA this year, people that are shooting at least 4 threes a game. So top 10 3-point shooting percentage, go.
Steph?
Nope.
What? Dude, I have no idea. Oh, Luka?
Nope. Come on.
Grayson Allen?
He's number 1.
This is horrible. This is going to be so bad. I'm going to get one of them.
All right. One player on the Nuggets.
Michael Porter?
Nope.
Jokic?
Worse.
Jamal Murray?
Yes. All right, you got 2. Someone on the Celtics. 2 people on the Celtics.
2 people on the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White?
Nope.
Oh, dude. This is horrible. This is an awful question. Give me like 8 minutes, and I might be able to get 4 of them.
Oh, my God, dude. All right, I'm going to pull up the list because, it is kind of shitty.
Because it's all going to be butt cheek. Like Grayson Allen?
He's number 1.
What?
Dude, he's shooting 45.6% from 3 on 5.5 attempts per game. Like, that is nuts. So he's number 1.
Is Anthony Edwards on there?
Nope.
Oh, then I got him, dude.
Number 2 is Luke Kennard, 45%. 3 is Mike Conley.
I was totally going to guess those 2 right
there. All right. Mike Conley, 43.9. Norman Powell, 43.8. Drew Holiday, surprise, 43.1. Sam Hauser, also Celtic, 42.7. Jamal Murray, 42.4. You got that one. Karl Anthony Towns, 42.3. Isaiah Joe.
Who?
He's on the Thunder. He scores like 9 points a game. 42.1%. And then Aaron Naismith, 42%. He's on the Pacers, I believe. I think he's also like a 9-point a game guy.
Yeah, you got me. Because I had no idea at all.
I knew that was a hard one because I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Because I had that idea when I was doing Splash Banana and, Splash. And then I go look at the list and I'm like, woof. I'm like, I don't know if Drake's going to get any of these, but too late to turn back.
You gave me some hints, so that's fine.
That's how you got
I do have my question. I'm just going to go ahead real quick and make the list. That way I can see it.
Yep.
Because it's not a list, it's a whole freaking article, and I don't got time to scroll.
All right.
So do your little your thing.
My filibuster?
Yeah.
Well, I guess something that we didn't talk about is did you know, Drake, that LeBron is shooting a higher 3-point percentage this year than Steph Curry?
No, I didn't know that.
LeBron was like 14th on this list. Like he was pretty high up there.
I wanted to guess LeBron, but I was like, no shot.
Yeah, maybe I should have done the question of just like name 10 guys shooting 40% or more from three.
I probably I would have got more than what I get, 2.
Yep. Well, because at least for that, you could have just shot out like people are good shooters. But like, oh, Kevin Durant. Yep. Done. Oh, Karl Anthony Towns, whoever, I wouldn't guess the cat, but he is very good shooting big.
All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
So this one's a little easier, but like I said, I didn't prep for this because when I looked at the script, I didn't see it. Must have got lost in the sauce. But 1 minute.
One opportunity.
Why clock? Come on. Technical difficulties.
We need a new score. We need a new scoreboard operator.
All right.
Change the clock.
You'll have 1 minute.
All right.
To name I don't know how to word this. The top 10 NBA players with the most all-star selections.
All time?
All time. Go.
LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant.
Yep, at 20.
At 20?
19. 18.
I feel like I'm missing some obvious ones now. Shaq?
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's number 6.
Okay. Kevin Durant?
Nope. Not on the list. You're missing,
Dwayne Wade?
Nope, not on the list.
Michael Jordan?
Yep. Number 7.
Okay. Dirk Nowitzki?
Yep, number 9.
Larry Bird?
Nope. 10 seconds. Tim Duncan is number 4.
Steph Curry?
5 seconds. Nope. And done. Wow. Not bad. You got LeBron. He's number 1 at 20. You got Kareem, number 2, 19. Kobe, number 3, 18. Tim Duncan, number 4 at 15. So you got the top 4. Mm-hmm. You did not get number 5, which is Kevin Garnett.
Okay.
But you got number 6, which is Shaq. You got number 7, which is Mike. And you got number 9 with Dirk. So you didn't get 5, Kevin Garnett, 8, Karl Malone, and 10, Jerry West.
I wouldn't have gotten any of those guys anyway. Maybe you gave me enough time, I would go like in order of like, all right, who was the best in this era? Who's the best in that era? Who's the best in that era? But because I
So
was
yeah,
thinking about like I knew the top three. Like I just knew like Kareem, LeBron, and Kobe just because they played so long, stars for so long. But
yep,
then after that, it was like really had to think about it. Like it was like who's played long enough and was good long enough? Because like Magic Johnson, for instance, like he was a beast, but he didn't play that long. You know,
yep.
or any of the current guys like a Giannis or a Jokic or anything like that, not played long enough yet. Like,
But Steph, like Steph, you would think would be on the list.
yeah. Where do you know how many he has?
I'm about to look it up. 9.
That's not bad. He can get a couple
Nope.
more, squeeze them in.
Yeah. He only got his first one 2014.
Yeah, it makes sense. He was a late bloomer.
Yep.
All right. I like that one. Better than the
Yeah.
3-point shooting one.
I mean, yours was a good one. I would have had no idea.
I don't know. I wonder if people who are like, watch League Pass every night, if they would know. People just super plugged in.
Like, who's guessing Sam Hauser?
Kyle. He would have been on it. He would have been like, oh, Drew, Sam Hauser.
And that's all he would have got.
Yep. All right. Well, that's a wrap on Stack Banana, which is a fun, I just love it. I just love the title of it. And, I got the banana font going on at the bottom. Sorry for taking you off screen for a second, but
good.
This was good stuff, Drake, having you back on as normal. And now it's my turn to be out, and I will be out the next 2 weeks.
Wow. Look at that. You get a little break.
Mm-hmm.
A little clear mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll
hanging
be great.
out across the world.
Yep. And so I'll be out for episode 68 happening over the next week or whenever. And I will return episode 69 because we will only be on one of the next 2 weeks and have a bye week, our first bye week in a very long time, actually. So well deserved.
I think a very long time.
Yeah, like almost a full year, maybe more than a full
probably
year. A long way. And that's
you hold it down very well.
Oh, well, thank you. I get a lot of help from, people pitching in and being some voice. So people don't always got to just listen to me. So can't do it alone, but it was nice to have partner in crime back at it and look forward to being able to collab again here in the coming weeks.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone else, thanks for locking in, and make sure to give us a like and a follow on all of our accounts. So that's YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, all at Mad Talk Sports. And we'll be seeing you again soon.
Peace.